Today, I'm going to share with you a few simple tricks to select your healthcare team that will actually listen to you. At some point in your life, if you live in the US, you'll have to pick your own healthcare team. This includes your primary care physician, your gynecologist if you're a woman, your pediatrician if you're a parent, or your therapist. You get the gist. When picking a team, there are three key things you need to look out for. The first thing is cultural competence. You need to find somebody who understands your background and respects your cultural experience. It makes all the difference in communication and care. Next, you want to look for professionals who have really strong credentials and a history of success with working with people that may look like you or come from the same cultural background as you do. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask questions about the experience, ask questions about their cultural compatibility. Knowing that you're on the same page with them will build a lot of trust. And the third thing to consider is accessibility. Consider practical things like location, office hours, and the ease of scheduling an appointment. A great healthcare team needs to be available to you when you need them. And let me break down these steps by sharing my own personal story that happened to me recently that made me want to make this video. At the beginning of every year, like a lot of people, I have to do a full-on physical check. This check for me usually starts with gynecology, then vision, dental, and ends with my primary care provider. And so over the last 2 years of me doing this, I always felt like I was not great gynecologically. I have irregular periods, I have extreme pain during my periods. And so 2 years ago, a gynecologist I was working with at the time noticed that I may have fibroids, but he never scheduled a follow-up, and I left the city I was living in at the time and moved. Last year again, I brought it up with the new gynecologist, and as usual, there was no follow-up. So in my mind, I'm thinking it must not be that serious, because if it was, then maybe my gynecologist will take this more seriously. So as usual, I powered through another year of painful and irregular periods. This year, however, my gynecologist from last year was not available for my routine checkup, and so I had to go with a different gynecologist. After telling her my problem, she scheduled an ultrasound later during that day, and guess what? I do indeed have massive fibroids and polyps in my uterus, and I need surgery to get rid of them. So it took 3 years for me to get diagnosed, and I don't mean for this to be a male gynecologist versus female gynecologist thing, even though the gynecologist that took me seriously was a woman and a woman of color, but there may be something there. I didn't find the right kind of providers that were culturally competent for me. So when you sign up for a new healthcare provider, start by doing your research. Read reviews, check credentials. You can check websites like HealthGrades or ZocDoc that can provide insights into patients' experiences. And also ask for referrals. Don't hesitate to ask your family, your friends, your community groups for personal recommendations, because usually we tend to be friends and interact with people that are very similar to us. And you can also interview potential providers. Book a consultation to see if you're comfortable with the way they communicate, with their approach, and trust your gut. If you feel like something is off, it probably is. And when you're doing these interviews, your goal is to evaluate for compatibility. Your healthcare is very personal, so you need to make sure that your team respects your values. For example, if you're Muslim, you may have a preference for female physicians only, and nobody needs to question that. And finally, do not be afraid to change or switch your provider if you feel like there's no compatibility. Like in my case, best believe I have switched gynecologists. I always say that you have 99 problems when you have good health, but when you have bad health, you really only have one problem. And your health is your most valuable asset. So don't settle for care that leaves you feeling unheard or not taken care of. If you found this video helpful, share your thoughts on your own experiences. If you found this video helpful, share your thoughts or your experiences if you've had this type of an issue before. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to navigate your health. Stay healthy.